Get ready for the inside scoop on AWS reInvent 2023. We're breaking down the key takeaways that are reshaping the game in the tech world right here on MSP Dispatch. Amazon Web Services reInvent event wrapped up yesterday, and wow, do we have some great resources and products to look forward to. So long as they don't come from, AWS East 1, right, Tony? I'm not going to go there. Let's jump into some of these announcements. First, there's a clear tone going on around the event that's helping the organization maintain their lead as the top cloud provider while introducing new tools in the market. And by new tools, we're talking about artificial intelligence. But first, let's get to some of the more traditional offerings. S3 has a new service tier, Express One Zone. It's high performance and low latency, and it looks to be great for data-intensive applications. After all, nobody has time for bottlenecks. Now, there are new serverless offerings as well, making it easier to manage Aurora, Elasticache, and Redshift. And look, when something's a little bit easier to manage and more scalable, it's just great for everyone. Everybody wins. And finally, there are these new $195 thin clients that are on the way. Think Amazon Workspaces, but over the internet. And Amazon got really clever on this one, repurposing the Amazon Fire TV Cube hardware. So those are some pretty cool innovations coming out, Tony. What do you think? I'd love to, first off, know what you think about S3. Who hasn't used S3 by now?
I think everyone's used S3, and you've got the list of Amazon services. You've got EC2, you've got RDS. We talked about you mentioned S3. You talk CloudFront is another big one. Yeah. VPC, SNS.
If you didn't mention it, tons of stuff.
Beanstalk is another pretty big one. Lambda is my
serverless functions. Hell yes,
my favorite of that list. And AWS Elasticache, and which is essentially just Postgres SQL. And they put their Aurora
in-memory caching, right?
Yeah, well, no. It's just a database. It's just It's Microsoft. Hey, listen, you have Microsoft SQL database. Use our Aurora database. No. It's just free Postgres SQL with an Aurora management wrapper over it, which makes it a lot easier. But it's really cool. But it gets expensive when you start moving up the scale. So the list of AWS services is, in my opinion, so underplayed and has so much value when you start to recognize what they are, how they work together so seamlessly, and more importantly, how they scale. The problem is that people don't seem to recognize that two things are in play here. The first one is that the SMB, mom and pop, we could literally go in right now and create with full-blown functionality every one of these services at a very, 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 very small microscopic scale.
Absolutely.
By the way, it grows all the way to global, world-class environments. Now, it gets more expensive because then you're saying, hey, listen, why am I paying you for your Aurora wrapper on a free SQL database when I could just remove that and have my own admins doing it? But that's a good problem to have, because if you're that big, so I love, my personal opinion, I'm a huge fan of what AWS has implemented and how they've interoperated all of these components together. I am a huge, we'll call it a opponent to the way they've marketed it. I don't think they've marketed it enough. I don't think the Microsoft, they haven't assisted people the way Microsoft has to create the communities, but they have all the ingredients there. Sorry, I could sit there and talk about this all day.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm gonna end this little segment right here in one thing. The president of the MSP that I used to work for, George Dowderman, had this saying that he used to like to use when things became too confusing or there was just too much in front of you, and that's looking at the AWS menu like a New York City diner menu and seeing that the pot roast is right next to the shrimp. I don't know what I want on here. Just give me a burger, and that may be at another company.
Perfect. And that's it's like a TGI Fridays menu where it's like a book, and I'm like, I just want a burger. It's a book, but it's
me a number really 7 good. Large with a Coke, and I'm happy.
I'm good.
All right, but let's move on to the AI side of things, because that's where really cool stuff happens. Okay, so first off, we've got HyperPod. It's a purpose-built, and I'm going to tell the audience, I got some notes in front of me because there's a lot going on here. It's a purpose-built service for training and fine-tuning large language models. It provides you with what you need to efficiently distribute models and data, speeding up the training process. So like I was saying earlier, a lot of this is about getting things done faster and more efficiently. There's also a new image generator, because we need a new generative AI out there, called Titan. It's currently available in preview for AWS customers. And not only can it create images based on prompts, it can also customize images that already exist. And finally, out of the items that really caught my eye, we have Amazon Q. It's an AI-powered chatbot. And, you might be looking at it and go, great, because there's only like 8,000 of those out there. But guess what? This one's been trained on 17 years of AWS knowledge. It goes well past answering your basic questions, going as far as understanding the nuances of application workloads and suggesting ways to improve their performance. That right there is an amazing use of AI, if you ask me, Tony. What do you think about that?
So I was at a big corporate event this last week, and one of the executives came up to me and very, very quietly said, "What are your thoughts on AI?" And I said, well, it's always been there.
Okay, Robin Williams movie?
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand the question. And he says, "What do you mean it's always been there?" I said, "It's always been there. If I push a button here and it does something, but if I push two buttons at the exact same time, it shouldn't do that. Now we've implemented error correction that says if you push two buttons, this doesn't happen. If you push one, it does happen. Congratulations. You have your first level of stratification of AI. And what's happened is you went from a nematode, small single-celled organism, to a very complex organism, which is one cell at a time, and an orchestrator. And that is what you call AI. But AI has always been there in some capacity. You're just recognizing it as almost smart, almost sentient.
Human-like. Yeah.
It is not AGI. Now, AGI is the artificial general intelligence, which is actually the human consciousness level. That's what you hear AGI, you should be afraid, because everyone right now is talking about AI. Yeah, well, you're worried about AGI, and AI right now is not self-aware. It has the appearance of self-awareness or self-comprehension because it's communicating the way we communicate. It's not quite there yet, and I am concerned about it. But AI as it exists, the evolution, we're slowly making steps in the direction of AGI, and everyone should be aware of this. Everyone should be concerned. But there's also so many things happening. Another thing I can talk about, what's really cool? If we had some knowledge of someone that maybe worked with AI, maybe ran an AI show, maybe like if you rounded up all of the AI information. Wait, hold on.
I was trying to get Sam Altman on the phone, but clearly you're talking about Phil Buck.
Phil Buck. There's like a link right above me right here. AI Roundup. It's amazing. Go watch it. Another, MSP Media production. It's incredible.
It's Saturday. I think we're done here. I want to go make myself an omelet or something like that. Have a nice little sit down, read a newspaper, something on paper instead of a screen. Folks, if you enjoyed this special episode of MSP Dispatch, let us know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and be sure to check us out every Tuesday and Friday morning at 10 a.m. right here at the MSP Media Network. And until then, have a great weekend.
Be safe, everyone.
This has been a broadcast of the MSP Media Network.